Good evening. My name is Dennis Muratori, and I'm the superintendent for Huron City Schools. On behalf of the school district and the Huron Board of Education, I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's dedication ceremony. First, I'd like to thank the chair for the Fallen Heroes Memorial Committee and the event organizer, Mr. Paul Ward, for inviting me to participate in this wonderful activity this evening. Tonight, it's a special night for the city of Huron. Tonight, we are honored and privileged to pay tribute to the 61 young men and women who bravely served their country and made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that you and I enjoy. The 61 sailors and soldiers whose names are inscribed on this beautiful monument, all from Huron, represent every U.S. war or conflict dating back to the Civil War. We are happy that each of you braved the cold and came out this evening to share in this celebration of our local history. Mr. Ward and his research team did a fabulous job researching the names for the monument. I know during this project, Paul learned an awful lot about our city and about each of these courageous individuals. I'm certain if you ask Paul, he'll be more than happy to share their individual stories. Before we begin the dedication ceremony, I would like to recognize and welcome a few of our guests this evening. I'd like to welcome the members of the Huron School Board, the members that are in attendance tonight. School Board President, Mr. Scott Slocum. Board Vice President, Mr. Tim Sawecki. And I'm not sure if the others are here, but I would like to recognize Ms. Donna Green, Mr. Kevin Asher, and Mr. John Caffarini. Also, I'd like to recognize representatives from our Huron City Council this evening. We have Ms. Phyllis Wasner. We have Mr. Brad Hartung. And we're lucky to have a representative, Mr. Nick Turner, from Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur's office with us tonight. Nick? I'd like to convey a special welcome to the families and friends of our fallen heroes and the families and friends of those men and women who are currently serving this great country of ours. And finally, and most important, on behalf of the Dedication Committee and the Huron City Schools, I'd like to pay a special welcome to the veterans who are here with us tonight. Veterans, we are truly indebted to you, so thank you. Oh, a quick reminder, I would like to remind everyone at a certain part or time during the ceremony this evening, the gentleman with the flag corps, the guard, will shoot off a volley, as they call it, so it may get quite loud. So I don't want anyone to be surprised, but they are blanks, okay? So, thank you.
Woohoo! Sure. Right. Quick. Okay, right down.
Please rise for the presentation of the colors and the singing of our national anthem.
we would like to salute all the men and women who have served in every branch of our armed forces, as the Huron High School Marching Band performs the Armed Forces Medley. We invite those of you in the audience who have served or who are currently serving to please stand as your song is presented.
United States Army. United States Navy. United States Coast Guard. United States Marine Corps. United States Air Force. On behalf of the students of Huron City Schools, I would like to publicly thank the benefactors who made the idea of the Huron Fallen Heroes Memorial a reality. The Huron Football Program, the Huron Booster Club, the Temper family, Huron High School class of 1983, the H team, the Huron football coaches, the Legando family, Rick and Maggie Schaefer, Don and Ellie Ritzenthaler, Mike Haydinger, Huron Police and Fire Associations, Sandusky AMVETS Post 17, and several other groups and individuals.
A very special thank you to United States Army Captain Jeff Sawecki, who made his contribution while serving in Afghanistan.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my honor to present to you and to the world the Huron Fallen Heroes Memorial.
Wow. What an unbelievable memorial and what an unbelievable dedication. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here tonight. My name is Nick Turner, and I'm here on behalf of Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur. Unfortunately, the Congresswoman couldn't be here tonight, but as I'm sure all of you who have been going on in Congress know, she would much, although it's cold and wet, much rather be here tonight. Tonight we are honoring those men and women who paid that ultimate sacrifice and given their lives for the freedoms of this country. It's so important to support and stand by our troops. As many of you have heard the story of Congresswoman Kaptur in her fight for 17 years to establish the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. Tonight you're all writing your own story for your friends, your family, and your neighbors, those from Huron who have also paid that ultimate sacrifice. So on behalf of Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur, I would like to present you with a certificate of special congressional commendation to the citizens of Huron, the city of Huron, for the Huron Fallen Heroes Memorial dedication. I would also like to present you with a flag flown over the United States Capitol as well.
Thank you, Mr. Turner, and please share our thanks to Representative Kaptur as well. Thank you.
We Shall Keep the Faith by Moyna Michael, November 1918. O you who sleep in Flanders fields, sleep sweet to rise anew. We caught the torch you threw, and holding high we keep the faith with all who die. We cherish too the poppy red that grows on fields where valor led. It seems to signal to the skies that blood of heroes never dies, but lends a lustre to the red of the flower that blooms above the dead in Flanders fields. And now the torch and poppy red we wear in honor of our dead. Fear not that ye have died for naught. We'll teach the lesson that ye wrought in Flanders fields.
Edgar Cross, Civil War.
Moses Mark, Civil War.
Thomas Kingston, Civil War.
Henry Garrett, Civil War.
Peter Kreutzer, Civil War. Jacob Kreutzer, Civil War.
Frederick Holzhauser, Civil War.
William Barlow, Civil War.
William Harris, Civil War.
William James, Civil War. John Weiland, Civil War. George Nicholas, Civil War. Thomas Matson, Civil War. George Icor, Civil War.
The Wentworth, Civil War.
John Strauss, Civil War. John Barber, Civil War.
David Everett, Civil War. Edward McDermott, Civil War. William Cherry, Civil War.
Benjamin Turner, Civil War.
Martin Tyler, Civil War.
John Osborne, Civil War.
Oscar Bacon, Civil War.
Cyrus Phillips, Civil War. George Pierce, Civil War. Joseph Ells, Civil War.
John King, Civil War.
Nathan Smith, Civil War.
Ariel Kelly, Civil War.
Aaron Strenger, Civil War.
Jacob Jackson, Civil War.
Adam Weichert, Civil War.
William James, Civil War.
Charles W. Scott, World War I.
Joseph O. Orcutt, World War I.
Joseph Dewhurst, World War I.
Charles McCormick, World War I.
William J. Brophy, World War II.
Raymond A. Cherry, World War II.
Richard W. Collins, World War II.
Edward Cunningham, World War II.
Richard D. Floyd, World War II.
Valentine A. Rees Jr., World War II. Michael D. Holland, World War II. Irwin J. Kerr, World War II.
Robert G. Keller, World War II.
Charles Menifee, World War II.
Anthony A. Reno, World War II.
George L. Mize, World War II.
Milton J. Shirley, World War II. William B. Taylor, World War II. Ernest L. Temper, World War II.
Ralph W. Zimmerman, World War II. William F. Ventozzi, Korea.
Edward Gara, Korea.
James C. Faquette, Vietnam.
Greg W. Heydrich, Vietnam.
James C. Bomber, Vietnam.
Terrence R. Messenberg, Vietnam. Michael W. Finke, Jr., Iraq.
Would all the veterans that are here today please stand so that we can thank you for one more time for your service to our country. Or raise your hand as you can. Thank you. There are also those among us who are Blue Star families, families whose sons and daughters, husbands and wives serve our nation. As we gather here today, would you stand so that we may recognize you as well? And to our Gold Star families, you are why we're here. Thank you for your effort joining us. We may never understand, but we must be determined to always remember. Thank you for attending the final of over 100 memorial dedications within the confines of Huron Memorial Stadium. Each tree represents an individual or a group that has forged us into the community that we are today. Join me in acknowledging the Stadium Beautification Committee for a job well done. In this digital age, many are concerned about the minds and hearts of our younger generation. They have their challenges like any generation. But as evidenced by their enthusiastic participation in this solemn dedication, these young people are bright, energetic, and eager to prepare themselves for leadership. Great job. One very special thank you must be expressed to the entire network of individuals surrounding the Huron Football Program under the leadership of head coach Tony Legando. The program endeavors to use the vehicle of football to teach life lessons, such as this most important one, honoring those who fought and died for our country. Please join me in an expression of gratitude for our first responders. I know there are several here today, police officers and firefighters who protect our lives and property. With the loss of Sandusky police officer Andrew Dunn, we were all sadly reminded of the risks that these men and women must make for us every day. Thank you. We gather here not to glorify war, but to recognize sacrifice. The twofold mission of the Huron Fallen Heroes Memorial is to honor and to educate. I speak with you with that in mind. In war movies, the battlefield is a glorious place where military operations are dramatized and packaged as entertainment. Billions of dollars are generated in this way. In athletics, coaches often proclaim metaphorically, "This is a war." On Memorial Day, we go to ball games and picnics to celebrate the beginning of the summer season, and many among us are unable to distinguish the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day, or the significance of the very fact that why Veterans Day is in November. Many of us are unaffected by the fact that more soldiers and Marines were killed this very month in Operation Enduring Freedom. Of course, we are able to conduct ourselves in this way because we live in a free country. We must educate our young people about the wonder of our freedoms: religion, speech, press, assembly, petition. But with this, the lesson is not complete. When one exercises those freedoms, he or she is making a withdrawal from an account, the account of democracy. It's an account which has a certain stipulation. The depositors are the men and women in uniform. Some of them made the ultimate sacrifice. Ohioans particularly have served with distinction. Abraham Lincoln would often inquire on the eve of a battle how many Ohio soldiers would be engaged. When asked why, his response was, "If many from Ohio are involved, we will probably win. I find them most reliable." Ohio provided more troops per capita during the Civil War than any state. And consider our own hometown. I can tell you there is Huron blood at Shiloh, Chickamauga. There's Huron blood at Gettysburg. There's Huron blood at Flanders Fields. There's Huron blood at the German Argonne Forest, on a hill in Korea, in the Mekong Delta, in the desert sands of Arupa. Some of the boys rest at local cemeteries while others lie beneath crosses in Belgium and France. So young people, after you study your presidents and generals, stop here. Learn about these boys, barely older than you, some perhaps younger than you, who probably watched, like you, a sunset over Cedar Point from Nickel Plate Beach. The first generation that does not learn how freedom was won may well be the last to enjoy it. That is why we must, on occasion, reflect on the sacrifices made by brave men and women, as our democracy calls them, in the spirit of MacArthur's words as he spoke to West Point cadets. Let civilian voices argue the merits or demerits of our processes of government. Your guidepost stands out like a tenfold beacon in the night. Duty, honor, country. Thomas Paine's words of encouragement to Revolutionary War soldiers also can provide us with perspective. He said, heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom would not be highly rated. And what is that price? Yes, the lives of these brave men and the service of thousands more. But not only that, the emotional wounds that do not heal of those they left behind. We must be mindful that behind each of these 61 brave souls is a mother, a father, a wife, grandparents, perhaps children. They make their sacrifice daily in silent grief. I feel how weak and fruitless must be any word of mine, Lincoln wrote in his famous letter to Lydia Bixby, which should attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of the republic they died to save. I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, your attendance here tonight is inspiring. Your decision to depart from routine and solemnly gather with us serves as an example to our young people that they will not forget. We must do this from time to time. We must reflect on our freedoms. And yes, we must mark the price of freedom. Thank you. Good night. God bless America.